Hey there, good morning. How y'all doing? um, I monitor a number of channels, and there's a gentleman that I love to hang out with online. It's because I'm with him. Okay, when you sort of understand why, I figure for those that have watched my videos know why I watch certain videos. It's not just to pass time. Okay, when you know that you're plugged in, and the amount of energy that is represented by what you are to maintain perfect balance across all the fake light timelines, right? That means my consciousness that is in the film that is playing, that's held in memory, right, of this particular individual that's riding on a train. He's a hobo. And so what prompted this to sort of, it's painful, but it's fun at the same time, sort of, because I love what he does. This guy has traveled all over North America on trains. Actually, all of it. I've done the same thing, but the only trains I ever hopped was when I was a kid, and they were short rides, right? And he was referring to the ride that he was just on. He was going across in an area not far from the east side of Glacier National Park in Montana, and going across the grain fields in Montana into South Dakota. And he was mentioning about how he had to be careful when the guys on ATVs come by at night with their flashlights are going to check for brakes. And then, of course, being seen on the train. And if he is, they're going to call the cops and pick him up at the next stop. So my immediate response to that is, you're not doing anybody any harm. You're not costing them any money to sit on that train. Okay? Yeah, but you're in an energy harvesting system. And that's the truth of it. Okay? Because everything runs on a schedule. And that schedule is electrons, because everything moves through electrons. So you're in a system that is inverted because it's feeding on our electrons. That's a broken system. That's a fallen system by default. That's pure basic logic that informs you of that. So what they do is they want to hold all the space. You can see going along the train, everything's got barbed wire or a fence on it. It's mine. So that means they're holding energy captive. Everything is held captive. It's mine. Why? Because it's represented by electrons. Okay? Because they live in fear. That's one ShA, in a video that's put up called ShA's Story, she talked about, after having brought into the base, what I call home base on the island of Kauai, about technologies, about reversing orbits of planets and galaxies and all the rest of this, and how many technologies have failed and ended up in the vacuum, and why helium was so critical after billions of years. So and I did this when I was a child, is doing the math, which is the acceleration of technology, and how the acceleration of technologies is it matched up with the spiritual growth, which is spiritual learning. Your teachers, your guides, the spirits that are guides, souls and oversouls that are guides, right? So if the technology is going further and faster than the evolution of learning through love, what happens? There's an imbalance. That's where we're at. So that's why I knew as a child, they don't know what they're doing, because the technology that they developed to be able to control the universe that they live in is why they developed those technologies. Because they haven't learned to experience being one in perfect balance with the first silver seed atom. That's the truth of it. That's why this was so critical, the time that we're in, is are we going to be able to heal fast enough so we don't collapse the whole thing? And everyone that was in that template, bye. That's how critical it is. As a result of what? Being held captive by the technologies that don't serve us. That's the truth of it. Because look what it does. Technologies are designed. Plant an idea in somebody's head, they run with it. They can't see the future result of their own technology that they're working on with their mind's energy, because they're not experiencing the one that's in perfect balance to know. Because you'd already know before you used your energy to develop the technology that you're using. So now you're held captive by the technology. Now, when you have little units of energy as a formation of consciousness, the development of technology, particularly as it relates to competition, that's the core problem. That's why we're where we're at. That's why she mentioned one time about doing a control experiment. How do we end up where we got as a result of competition? Because they're not experiencing being balanced with each other, and the reason that we're where we're at is one causal factor: the refusal to let go of every single electron, which means you are in eternal service with the one. That's why we acknowledge the one, which is the first electron. When you are with the first electron giver, then you are giving electrons forever. Now you're going the speed at which the grand creator is going, because now you're co-creating with the grand creator with the electrons. Now you're moving at the highest rate of speed. Your flashing light is off the charts. Wow, they can't track you. No, because your creative mind is on fire. Now you're manifesting. That's the power that you receive by virtue of letting go. They don't know how to let go. That's called the first fall. The very first fall. Wow, I'm losing energy. What happens? Fear of losing electrons. Now they got to play catch up because they're in a hole. Once that hole's been dug, how do they get out of that hole? Perfect balance. That means the spin torque speed ratio spin with what? All the elementals. All the elementals are spinning a dance in spirit with all the other spirits. So all the spirits and the elementals, they're all experiencing the dance in spirit because the music is perfect. Wow. That means the language of the founders is perfect math because it's in perfect balance. Have a great day. We love you all. Be good to yourselves. Thank you, Hobo Shoestring.